Good evening. I would like you all to think for a moment about the clothes that you are wearing right now, the coffee or tea that you drank this morning, the food products that you've eaten throughout the day. Do you know who made those products, what country they came from? Do you remember how much you paid for them? Do you know how much of the money that you spent on that product actually went towards the person who produced it? Do you know what the working conditions were like for the person who created your product? I would take a bet and say that none of you know the answer to any of those questions, let alone all of those questions. But can you imagine a world where there is so much transparency between the people who produce a product and the people who consume a product that before you bought anything, you knew those answers? There's a movement aimed at making that world a reality, and it's called fair trade. If you haven't already heard of what fair trade is, in its simplest terms, fair trade is a movement that would provide fair wages towards every person who made the products that you use on a daily basis. Fair trade is a label that can be put on a product that says that whoever made that product earned a fair wage, or it could be placed on a school, a university, or a town that says that this institution supports the fair trade movement. And if you didn't already know, Rockhurst University is actually the first and only university to be fair trade designated in the state of Missouri. In a much broader sense of the word, fair trade promotes better working conditions for the individuals who make a product, and it supports farms and factories that choose more sustainable methods of production so that they have a lesser negative impact on the environment. So think about everything that I just told you and compare that to what you know that is called free trade. The difference between free trade and fair trade is that the main goal of free trade is to provide economic growth for the nation, and the main goal of fair trade is to promote economic growth for the individual. Another distinct difference is that free trade is much less direct than fair trade is. For example, think about coffee beans. In a free trade environment, they have to be grown in, say, Mexico, and then the beans are shipped to America, they're roasted here, they're packaged here, they're sold to a major corporation, sold to a different corporation, then sold to a store where the consumer can then buy them. In a fair trade environment, the coffee beans are grown, roasted, packaged, all in Mexico, and then sold to a large corporation, and then that corporation is then able to sell them to a consumer. As you can see, in fair trade, there's much less people involved in the production and the shipment of the products, such as coffee beans, so that the money that you spend on the product has a much more direct path to the person who produced the product. So after hearing all of that, this is why I believe that you should all start to promote fair trade if you haven't already. First and foremost, fair trade promotes workers' rights and women's rights. It promotes workers' rights by not allowing any sort of slave labor or child labor. People are placed in safe working conditions, so when they come to work, they don't have to worry about if they're injured, they might lose their job because they can't come to work. They don't have to worry about if they are injured, then they won't receive any workers' compensation for not being able to come in. Women are given time off for pregnancy, and especially single mothers fair trade benefits, because a lot of times factories even offer childcare. So if a woman isn't able to send her child to school, she can't afford it, she can bring her child to work, and then she can leave them in a child care facility, and they would be provided with teachers and people that can help their students grow, and then when their children grow, and then when their children get older, sometimes the factory even helps provide methods for them to go to school and get a higher education. Fair trade also produces higher quality products for you guys, the consumers. It does this by promoting self-dignity and by supporting the environment. By supporting self-dignity, the people who make the products are being paid a fair wage. This ensures that people are more likely to come to work, they're more likely to care about their work, they're more likely to work harder, and this all in turn creates a better product. By supporting the environment, farms aren't allowed to use pesticides, GMOs, there's very strict controls on all of this. So when you buy fair trade produce, you're in turn buying organic products that are healthier, they're better for you, they're better for your families. Now I'm going to play a short video from Patagonia, a company that I'm sure you have all heard of. They make outdoors clothing. They're very popular, and they support the fair trade movement.
Most Americans don't think about who made the clothes that we wear. We don't think about it. There are a lot of factories out there that do an amazing job. Right now, the problem is that those factories don't have an effective way to compete with the bad factories. And a lot of brands and retailers don't know the difference, and so they'll gravitate to the lower priced option.
The garment industry is broken. People would be shocked if they saw what goes on in bad factories. But because there is no visibility when you buy garments, you are just oblivious to it.
People are treated not like human beings. They're treated as animals. This is the pattern of industrialization. The profit-chasing principle of the mega businesses is not going to end.
Your purchasing decisions can affect the lives of workers around the world.
All over the world, the patterns with poor populations is the same. What fair trade is trying to do is interrupt these patterns.
We can't wait for the whole industry to act. We need to do what we can right now.
We can choose. We can vote for a better world through the products that we buy.
There's an easy route, and there's a hard route that involves doing the right thing.
Thank you all for watching. I hope that video helped sum up the points that I was trying to make about how fair trade can benefit individuals as well as the community. Buying fair trade coffee is just the beginning. Stores such as Target offer many amazing fair trade products. You can buy coffee, tea, sugar, soda, but that's just the beginning. There are many, many other fair trade products. You can buy clothes, shoes, fish, flowers. I even bought a fair trade prom dress. The main goal of this speech is just to help all of you become more aware of what fair trade is, so that when you go to the store, you're more likely to buy a fair trade product, because you know the impact that it could have on a person directly. Start a conversation with your friends, your family, your schools. Support the fair trade movement. Do research. What you learned today is just the beginning. Fair trade is in your hands. The world can change. You just have to be willing to support the movement. Thank you.